everyone, and welcome to another edition of FaceTime. I'm your host, Ramsey Abushala, and today I'm joined by the Minnesota United midfielder, Raheem Edwards. Raheem, how you doing, man? You good?
Good always. How you doing?
I'm good, man. Thanks for joining us. So let's just get into it. MLS season started back up after the tournament bubble in Orlando. How's everything been? You know, getting back into stadiums, is that like a step back to normalcy, or is it still
A
kind
little,
of
yeah.
weird with the stadiums being mostly empty?
Yeah, it's a little bit weird. I remember our first game since the return of the season after the Orlando Bumble. It was against SKC, and it kind of didn't feel like a real game in a sense.
Mhm.
Not in terms of, obviously it was a real game, but it just kind of felt a little weird.
Yeah.
Obviously with no crowd in a full stadium. I've never played in a stadium before, like in MLS,
Mhm.
where there's no one there. So it was kind of weird, obviously. But yeah, we're getting back to normalcy. This is only phase one. I'm
Mhm.
guessing, if I were to guess, we have two more phases because there's three phases in total.
Yeah.
If I was to guess, maybe phase two or phase three, we'll see some sort of normalcy in terms of
Yeah.
fans. I know some places have fans already, like Dallas,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
like stuff like that. So yeah, so we're gonna get back into that. So yeah, it's been good though. It's been good. We started off on a little rocky road right now.
Mhm.
Uh, 3 games lost, so we're looking to get back to winning ways in Minnesota.
Yeah. Yeah. And just kind of talk about, because it's your first year in Minnesota, and acclimating to a new team sometimes can take a little bit. What's it been like just gelling with your new teammates and getting acclimated to everything like that?
Yeah, the team spirit and the team camaraderie, like conglomerates is very, very good. We get along so well. When I first got there, it took me about a week, and I was like
Mhm.
already in the team, feeling involved and everything like that. Our team is really, really, really fun, really, really fun to be around. So I think that's an important thing too, to enjoy your space, enjoy where you're working, and then I think the working environment here in Minnesota is excellent because
Yeah, and this is your fourth team, and you're
yep,
still you just turned 25. You're still young and you're early on in your career, and I'm sure moving around like that has had to be pretty tough, especially um, you're a father, you got a young kid at home. Just
yep.
how are you able to overcome those obstacles, and what was it like just moving from club to club like that?
Yeah, obviously it's not the easiest thing. It's a little bit challenging, obviously, with getting an apartment in the city, and then you find out next year you're traded, so you gotta break your lease, you gotta
Yeah,
find a new place, this and that. You gotta move all your stuff, which is a pain in the ass, quite
yeah,
frankly. But yeah, just sticking with it, just knowing that what you're here for a reason. You're here to play soccer and nothing more, nothing less. There's little things into getting traded, which is not easy, but you just gotta know how to handle it accordingly, and just keep a straight head. That's the best you could do.
yeah, yeah. And I'm sure it's been a really big learning experience, especially pretty early on in your life. You got to grow up quick. What's one thing you've taken from Toronto to Montreal to Chicago, now Minnesota? What's one thing you've taken from each club that you've been with?
What I've taken is just like routine. There's a routine that you have to go through in order to be where you want to be. Obviously, the club and staff, wherever you are, is gonna give you what they can give you, but there's also stuff that you need to do for yourself. And
Mhm.
I've learned that from Toronto. I learned that in Montreal. I learned that in Chicago, and I'm learning that here in Minnesota. There's little things that you need to do for yourself that maybe club and staff can't do for you. So just taking care of yourself basically is what I've learned from previous clubs. Taking care of yourself, making sure you're always on the top of your game and always ready to go.
Yeah, and have you like reached out to anyone for any advice, or is it kind of something that uh, you've taken on and on
Not
your own?
really.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
not really. I've taken it on my own. I haven't really asked anyone for anything about that in terms of being traded and then playing. But it's just something I'm learning on my own, and I think it's important that everyone's journey is different.
Mhm.
So yeah, I'm just taking it on my own.
It's part of the business, right?
Yep, yep, yep.
You broke into the starting lineup last night in against Houston, but I'm sure you that was probably one of the objectives on your list of goals for the season. But I'm sure there's more for you. What do you have that you're trying to accomplish this year with Minnesota as a club and individually as a player?
Yeah, I'm trying to just have a really, really like far and foremost with the team. I'm just trying to have a really, really good season with the team. I think we have the tools to make a really, really deep playoff run. So
Hmm.
that's like one of my top goals. One of my top goals for me and the team. For me personally, is just goals and assists. I think as an attacker, that's what you play for.
Yeah,
Goals
yeah,
and assists, and padding my stats any way possible. Trying to fill up my stats as much as I can. I think that's the most important thing, 'cause that's what sells. and that's what gets you new contracts and new everything. So it's me trying to get on the score sheet any way possible, whether that's an assist or a goal. That's my main objective this year.
Yeah, that's pretty straightforward goals there. But I mean, the simpler the better sometimes, right? And you mentioned, the team is fun to be around. Who are some of the kind of the guys that you've gelled with instantly, and what do you guys get up to off the pitch?
Like there's a couple guys. There's a lot of guys that I gel with. I gel with the whole, like when I mean the whole team, I mean the whole team. But there's guys like Mason Toy, Sonny Dodson, Greg, the goalkeeper, Dane. There's Ja'Cory. There's Musa. We call him Moose. There's a lot of guys that like we could just, when there's days off or 1 or 2 days off, like we want to be around each other. Whether that's like maybe beginning of the season before, like a little bit when COVID hit, playing basketball together here and there, or just going to someone's patio and just having a talk and just chilling with the teammates. It's we love the energy that we have with each other is it's unmatched. Like we love to be around with each other. Like it's just good energy, good vibes, and it's just people you just want to be around with. So it's just guys like that is just like what makes it so much easier for me to be here in Minnesota.
Yeah, and I mean that's a huge part of a team's success. Not only is it
exactly.
On
A lot of people don't know that. A lot of people a thing that's very, very important is a good team, like good team chemistry, good team, brought up, see like people that want to be around with each other. It's just like working a normal job. Like if you have to work a normal job with like a desk job and you have a group, and after you don't like your group, you're not gonna. Sometimes more likely than not, you're not gonna perform to the best of your abilities.
Yeah.
So if the group is good, the performance is good. You can fight for each other, blah blah blah, this and that. So like as I said, the group is great. So this only translates onto the pitch. We want to work for each other and fight for each other.
Yeah, 4th place in the table so far. So I mean, even with the 3-game skid, you guys are in a good spot, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, cool. So now we're just going to transition into the rapid fire section of this. So we're just going to shoot off some quick questions for you, and then we can wrap up from there. Does that sound good?
Perfect.
Yeah. So first thing, what's on your pregame playlist? What gets you into the zone before games? What are you listening to?
A lot of Little Baby, Gunna.
Yeah.
A lot of hard hitting beats, rap beats, like trap rap music. So like Little Baby, Gunna, stuff like that. Travis Scott, get me going.
Yeah. You mentioned your father. What's the best advice you have for young, new, and expecting fathers?
Just enjoy every moment, because literally these kids grow so quick. But like someone told me that before, and I'm like, yeah, they do grow quick. But like when you're like in fatherhood and you see that, like my kid now is 2 years old, like his 2 years have flown by. So you just take and appreciate every single moment you have with your kid from day one till the last days.
What's the kind of biggest lesson that you've learned as a young father?
Patience. Patience, especially with 2-year-olds. They don't listen. They do whatever they want. But I've learned to be a provider, not just for him, for my family. It makes you mature a little bit more, because now you have a mouth to feed, you have someone to take care of, you have responsibilities. So it just makes you mature more, which is good. In a sense, it's really, really good. So yeah.
And so I mean, I've followed you on social media for a little bit now. We did a couple interviews with you in the past, but I've seen you're into fashion, you're into sneakers and stuff like that. So any new pickups that you've gotten, or anything on your mind? Is there anything on the radar that you're looking to cop in the future?
I'm really into Dunks and like Nike SBs. I know I believe there's SBs coming out. I don't really remember the name or the colorway of them, but I'm really into SBs. So anything SBs, I'm trying to get my hands on, especially if I like them. But as of recently, I've been chilling. Chilling a lot. I've been saving up my money, for like there's not any must-haves I need, but when the time comes, I'm definitely willing to pull the trigger. But for now, I'm chilling.
Yeah, and Dunks kind of made a comeback, right? I mean,
last
Dunks, maybe year or so. Now you're seeing a huge influx of SBs. I saw they had the ones that change colors in the light.
That one's coming out soon.
Crazy.
Civil, those are
the
kids nowadays. Yeah, kids nowadays, they only get the shoes to resell them because the resale price on the shoes are ridiculous.
Insane. Like those Ben and Jerry's Dunks are going for like
like 1,000,
4 figures, dude. Like it's crazy.
Yeah, 4 figures. It's crazy. It's crazy, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, the game has changed. It's now like you're in it for a profit, and
exactly.
Less so for the history and the
history. Yeah.
So just to wrap things up. Obviously, Canadian soccer has been on the rise in the last couple of years. Alphonso Davies, was kind of talking about that after he won Champions League a couple weeks ago. And then on the other side, in the women's game, you have players like Christine Sinclair, who's been a legend for years now. But who are some Canadian soccer players that we need to keep our eyes on besides yourself, of course?
A couple of them. I can name you a couple. I think there's a kid named Aiden Daniels. He plays in the USL for Colorado Switchbacks.
Okay.
I think he's a really, really good player. Liam Fraser, obviously a lot of people know about him. He's with the Canadian men's national team as well. I think he's a really good player. Richie Larea, Jordan Hamilton too, when he gets his opportunity in Columbus. I think he could do really well, really, really well there. And there's a lot, man. There's a lot of Canadian kids that are now coming out of the woodworks, and Alphonso is obviously a testament to that. I just think in the next couple of years, it's gonna be crazy between U.S. and Canada. Like the amount of talent that's gonna come out of there is gonna be ridiculous. So I'm really excited for that.
Yeah, and you've spent time with the national team too. What's that training environment like with so many young guys who are hungry and talented at the same time?
Yeah, the thing is with those camps is like everyone knows everyone. The chemistry is great. Everyone's great. It's the same. We all have the same goal. I feel like Canadians are brought up the same way, are raised the same way. What a lot of people don't know, like Canadians are very, very competitive. So I feel like training sessions are really, really competitive, high spirited, high energy, which is good. So yeah.
Yeah, are we going to see you on the roster in the next?
Hey,
next
hopefully, man. I gotta score goals and get assists, and hopefully we'll see, man. That's the goal.
Yeah. All right, man. I know you're busy. I'm not going to keep you for much longer. But you got any last shout outs that you want to throw out there?
Not really. All
right. Cool, man. Really appreciate you coming on the show and joining us. Signing off for Raheem Edwards and Urban Pitch. I'm Ramsey Abushala. We'll see you next time.